Let's explore event handling in React. Event handling is about managing user interactions such as clicks, form inputs, and keyboard events. It involves responding to actions that users take within your application. Let's understand what React events are. React wraps native document object model, that is, DOM events, in something called synthetic event objects. These synthetic event objects ensure that the events behave consistently across different web browsers. Consider a button component. When the button is clicked, the handle click function is called and the event is actually a synthetic event. The type of the event can be logged to the console. Let's see how to handle click events. Click events are triggered when an element is clicked. Here's an example. The click demo component uses the useState hook to maintain a count. The handle click function updates the count by 1 each time it's called. The button displays the number of times it has been clicked. Some features of the onClick event include it is the most common event handler. It works on various elements like buttons, divs, and images. It passes a synthetic event object to the handler. It can also prevent the default behavior of certain elements. Now let's learn about form input events. Form input events are essential for handling user input in forms. Here's an example. The input demo component uses the useState hook to store the input value. The handle change function updates the namestate whenever the input value changes. The input element is bound to the namestate, so the value is always up to date. Now let's look at the different form events. The onChange event is triggered when the input value changes. The onSubmit event is triggered when a form is submitted. The onFocus event occurs when an element gains focus. The onBlur event occurs when an element loses focus. Now let's explore keyboard events. Keyboard events are triggered when a user interacts with the keyboard. Here's an example. The keyboard demo component uses the handle keyDown function to listen for the Enter key. If the Enter key is pressed, a message is logged to the console. Some of the keyboard events are the onKeyDown event, which is triggered when a key is pressed. The onKeyUp event, which is triggered when a key is released. The onKeyPress event, which is triggered when a character key is pressed. The event.key property returns the key that was pressed. Let's discuss event object properties. The event object contains useful information about the event that occurred. Here's an example of an event demo component, which has a handle event function that logs the event type, target value, and current target to the console. It also prevents the default form submission. The event properties that are available are event.type, which specifies the event type name. The event.target, which specifies the element that triggered the event. The event.currentTarget specifies the element with the handler. The event.preventDefault method, which stops the default action. Let's understand how to pass parameters to event handlers. Sometimes we need to pass custom parameters to our event handlers. Here's an example. The button list component defines a handle click function that takes an ID and a name as parameters. The onClick event is set to an arrow function that calls handle click with the specified parameters. You can pass parameters using arrow functions such as open parenthesis, close parenthesis, arrow handler parenthesis parameter, bind methods such as handler.bind, this param, data attributes such as event.target.dataset, and closure, that is, return function with parameters. Finally, let's discuss the best practices and performance tips for event handling. It's important to optimize your event handlers for better performance. Here are some recommendations. Use useCallback to memorize event handlers, avoiding unnecessary re-renders. Avoid creating functions directly within the render method. Use preventDefault when needed to prevent default actions. Also, it is good to keep event handlers simple. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.